The fact that these currencies and markets have come down so much in emerging markets, there are tremendous opportunities opening up in individual stocks. Of course, you can't buy the market itself, but it's best to buy individual stocks. I mean, just to give you an example of how things can turn around, if Turkey releases the pastor to the U.S., immediately the Turkish market will respond in an upward movement, I believe. So it can be quite dramatic. These changes from the bottom can be quite amazing and very fulfilling and profitable.
How much of your thesis is pivoting around Fed policy and in turn what the dollar may or may not do?
Fed policy is very, very important. And of course, with rising interest rates, we have to be very cautious of companies that have debt in any direction. So what we're doing is saying, look, let's look at those companies with exceptionally strong balance sheets, because interest rates are going to follow the U.S. As they go up in the U.S., they'll go up elsewhere. So this is very, very important. I would say the Fed policy is critical to what's going to be happening in the next few weeks.
So does it depend on what the Fed does next, or the message that the Fed signals, Mark, before you pile back into emerging markets whose valuations are so much lower than those in the developed world, especially the United States?
That's right. They are so much lower. No, we don't wait. There are opportunities now, because a lot of the countries have actually come down so much and have seen the Fed moving in interest rates and expect the Fed to continue moving on interest rates. So what they're doing is, of course, selling down their markets, and that's an opportunity.
Mark, there's a lot of discussion here stateside today about the Saudis and the future investment initiative and who's going to go and who's not going to go. The Treasury Secretary says he's still planning on going. Jamie Dimon said they wouldn't discuss that on the call. How much is at risk here regarding U.S.-Saudi relations and the future of what they once tried to make into the Davos of the desert?
I think it's a very, very important development, and everyone is talking about this. A lot of people have already canceled visits to Saudi Arabia. And of course, it's not only this incident with the journalist in Turkey, but it's a number of other things that the Saudis have done, the relationship with Qatar and other elements in this whole picture, which makes it not very good for Saudi Arabia, I would say.
So, Mark, we're anticipating the release of this new Treasury report next week, where they may or may not call China a currency manipulator. There's a lot of drama. Secretary Mnuchin wouldn't really budge on any hints this morning in our interview. What would happen one way or the other, given China's currency has weakened so far, so fast against the U.S. dollar, but unclear whether that's an all-out manipulation to get a trade advantage? What would be the consequences?
Well, I think the consequences, first of all, would give the Chinese freedom to go further. In other words, if they call China currency manipulator, they may say, okay, we'll let the currency go up or go down, go up against the U.S. dollar much, much more than they are now. So the consequences could be very great. And of course, relations with China will deteriorate even further.